Good morning, Malcolm Nance.
Good morning, Stephanie.
You know, I was saying as much as I scream at the TV, I can imagine how much you scream at the TV when people arrive at conclusions that are several years old for you and that you've been saying every day.
I was on Joy Reid's show the other day, and every person at the table
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
for years,
Yes.
going on 3 years
Yeah.
this year. And when it comes July 26th,
Yep.
we'll have been at this 3 years.
Yeah. Well, I know. We just started having Sarah Kendzior on, too, and I'm telling you.
Sarah's awesome.
Yeah, you and she and, Natasha Bertrand. I mean, there are a few people that have been sounding this clarion call, right, for years now. That it really is sort of stunning. By the way, you tweeted, Russian ambassador says his government has offered to sit down with American officials about the 2016 elections and negotiate on this issue. And you said probably negotiate royalties from Trump, no doubt.
Now a negotiation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Negotiate our surrender.
Yeah.
I mean, which one of these things is going to come first? But you're absolutely right. I've been pulling my hair out, and it's been about several things. The RICO comment that I made, I'm pretty sure I made the first time in February 2017 on the Joy Reid show, where I said this is going to become a RICO case.
Yeah.
That's just common sense. I'd already written 2 books about the matter at the time, and you saw that the entire basis of an ex-KGB officer's recruitment would be that he has dirt and compromise on a person like Donald Trump, including all of the illicit sales to Russian businessmen, Trump's own, dirty desires as he has. So that's a very easy call. It's taken a very long time for the mainstream media to really, they need the facts behind them before they can make a call like that. So it's not surprising that as RICO cases may actually be seen here, now that you have the state of New York carrying out, I don't know how many investigations now. I mean, the insurance one broke yesterday.
Yep.
Which is interesting because Trump filed for $17 million in damages due to Hurricane Katrina at Mar-a-Lago.
Wow.
And there is nothing anybody can show, which shows that he probably and, oh, by the way, my favorite, 9/11, he made insurance claims for damages on 9/11. So
Whoa.
The state of New York is going to rip his world apart.
Yeah. His buildings, of course, are nowhere near ground zero. But yeah.
Oh, well, could have had some dust on it but it's just absolutely amazing. If you haven't read Andrew McCabe's book, The Threat, I highly recommend it. I've just finished it as part of my research for my next book. And it's pretty clear why Trump wanted to get rid of him. He cut his teeth, his first case, on the Russian Mafia in New York City and how they were doing business and had replaced the Italian Mafia.
Well, and Malcolm, I was going to say, Chairman Adam Schiff definitely heard you being shouty McShoutface, because the prosecutor he just hired, right, has specialized in Russian money laundering.
Russian Mafia, that's right, money laundering.
Yeah.
But one of the key components of the Russian Mafia in New York City was insurance fraud.
Yeah.
And, a guy like Donald Trump, who thinks he's a Goomba, he's going to be out there with the mob, really thought that he could get away with all of these things. So when you're talking to a person like, Andy McCabe, who had seen all of these things, you could only see that Trump had to get rid of him. So, and also McCabe's first mafia case was a RICO case, and he explains the RICO process step by step in the book and how they don't go after you for one crime, they go after you for every crime.
Right.
And that alone, because you organized it, is a felony.
Right.
And I think Trump is in very, very serious jeopardy here, in addition to his, all of the rest that he's done with Russia.
Yeah. Let's talk about this piece, which I referenced in the Daily Beast. Russia blames Dems, cheers Kim Jong-un after Trump's North Korea summit fail. I mean, this is all just so predictable, right? That he got advice from Putin, The summit obviously was a complete disaster. Now we're being mocked openly on Russian state TV. Right. I love this. They had to write this. The Russians weren't rooting for Trump, quite the contrary. And the state media view with the public contempt his efforts to look like a tough guy in the summit aftermath. Putin set this whole thing up, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, and that Sergei Lavrov would come there to make sure that the orders were executed for the conference itself. Arriving a day before the conference itself is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
We are doing Russia's bidding in Asia. Donald Trump himself, and this is another awesome quote that Andy McCabe had in this book. And it's not often I plug a book other than my own, but
Yeah.
this book is really amazing reading. He said, I do not believe in intelligence. I don't believe in human intelligence. I don't believe in people who sell themselves out and betray their countries for money. Donald Trump, that's a quote from Andrew McCabe about Donald Trump as to why he refuses to believe the CIA. And, well, that's certainly one of the things Vladimir Putin would have said to him.
Yeah.
Don't believe the CIA. They've never been good. You know how they did that. You can literally see the puppet strings on this man moving his mouth coming from Vladimir Putin. We are being played, and that's why my next book will be emphasizing this sort of level of treachery.
Yeah, they're openly mocking Trump. Here's what the host of Russia's main weekly news show said. Trump miraculously managed to worsen relations on all fronts with the European Union, China, Russia, total failure in Syria, the same with Turkey, failure with Iran, failure with Venezuela, nothing but failures at every turn. Trump, who calls himself the master of the deal, left Vietnam empty-handed. In fact, the Hanoi summit turned out to be a golden propaganda opportunity, a win-win for Russia and North Korea, just as Putin designed it.
Absolutely, as he designed it. Putin still gets to do his illicit oil and cash transfers there, but to make that profitable, he has to lift the sanctions. Putin got the United States to stop all defense exercises on the Korean Peninsula, which weakens the United States in the Indo-Pacific region, which helps both Russia and China. Putin got Donald Trump to believe that North Korea does not have ICBM capability when everything U.S. intelligence says, and believe me, we're good enough to be able to tell at the, what the strength of the pop rivets are on those things, that to the point where Trump flat out refuses to believe it, which means he is beholden to Moscow's worldview. And I've said when I wrote Plot to Destroy Democracy, they have put a framework around him in which you can only trust Russia, never trust America, and whatever you do, left, right, up, or down, it's to the benefit of Russia.
Yeah. And meanwhile, obviously new satellite imagery, in North Korea, rebuilding the nuke plant and also attacking our infrastructure it just, Malcolm, we joke now and again, but this is just so deadly serious. And now let's talk about, speaking of national security, White House tells the Democrats it will not hand over Kushner security clearance documents. I'm sure there's nothing fishy there, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, fight's on. And that's what they want. This is a sign that they do have something to hide. And now, okay, it's time to whip out the subpoenas. You don't want to do that? You want to go to the mats over this? Okay, let's go to the mats over it. The point is, the Democrats' problem, that as I see it right now, is that Trump has the ability to use that bullhorn. And Democrats are trying to be nice about it. And every one of the Democratic presidential candidates are failing right now. They are absolutely abject failing. And they're showing they can't beat Trump at this game. So whoever stands up and starts going up and saying 3 times, right, the way Trump does it, you have something to hide. You're hiding something from the American people. You have something to hide, right? That's how Donald Trump gets his message through. And then, of course, the news media will jump on top of it. But the point is that we have people who literally want to run as commander in chief who will not stand up to him and who are still thinking that you have to play by the rules of, the Queensberry rules in boxing when these guys are doing MMA with mallets.
Well, we were just talking about, I don't know why this is not a bigger story. Even Chuck Grassley is saying the Treasury did not provide bank records related to Russia that they asked for. The SAR, the suspicious activity report. I mean, Malcolm, as you say, nobody on the up and up makes this kind of effort to hide everything, right?
Absolutely. And again, I am going to place the blame firmly. We have Democratic candidates right now that are giving their opinion, attacking Ilhan Omar
Yeah.
about some comments that were relatively neutral, but
Yep.
won't stand up to any of this, who will come out and make these milquetoast statements. Even Bernie Sanders doesn't sound convincing the way he used to. All I'm saying is that these people need to have the as you said about Sarah Kendzior the other day, the requisite level of panic in their voice,
Yeah.
and they need to get all shouty McShout-faced themselves and
Yeah.
start going
Yeah,
criminal
if you and if
enterprise.
you and Sarah and I are hysterical, then other people are not at the right level of hysteria to match the crisis of our times. Why is Roger Stone not in prison yet? So
That's an
the
excellent
judge,
question.
we have and he got bitch slapped again by the judge. I mean, how is this not a violation of his gag order? Not just the crosshairs, but then the obviously, like, we're all idiots and we don't know what writing a new section, a new forward to an existing book is, or
Yeah,
this Instagram post, right? So,
sure. And who
yeah,
framed Roger Stone?
right.
And I believe Bob Mueller's team caught that and sent it up to the judge. No, he needs to have his bail pulled. He needs to go to jail, and he needs to be the martyr that he likes to think that he is. And until that time happens, he feels that there is a completely separate judicial system for him and Republicans, and they're proving it. And the judge and the Democrats need to get on the ball and understand that so long as they keep pulling these punches, they will take advantage of it. And it's the ultimate privilege when you can just flip literally, almost literally flip the bird at a judge and put her in the crosshairs, and you get a second chance.
Yeah,
Black people don't get second chances. All right, terrorists don't get second chances.
yeah,
Why is Roger Stone getting a second chance?
Yeah.
He needs to have his bail revoked. He
yeah.
needs to go to jail,
Well,
and he needs to understand what it looks like. I want to see him in that orange jumpsuit.
yeah. Well, I mean, they've obviously dangled pardons before all these guys, right? Manafort, Flynn, Stone, like I
Which
say,
is a,
probably Cohen, right? Before he, yeah,
that's abuse of power itself.
yeah,
That's an abuse of power, and if it turns out to be true that that's what they did, that needs to be investigated. But people need to ratchet it up. There was a statistic this morning from a new I think want to say it's a Quinnipiac poll, which said 56% of Americans don't believe impeachment is warranted.
hmm,
56% of the public, which
wow,
means they're uninformed.
right.
And as you
And
said,
and yet
we all see the criminal enterprise.
and yet
We see all
60,
the activity.
almost 60% also say they don't think Trump is being honest on Russia. I mean,
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's a new standard for a
yeah,
president. You can be a pathological liar, but they don't think you should be put out of office.
yeah,
This is insane, which means that what's he going to do? Is he going to nuke somebody?
yeah.
Mike Barnicle said this yesterday morning on Morning Joe. He can murder a person on Fifth Avenue, and he will get away with it by
Hey.
the way that the Democrats are acting right now.
Yeah, right. It is. It's time to man up. Listen, real quick. Michael Cohen is testifying behind closed doors again today. I don't recall if I asked you this last week, but boy, I wish someone had asked a follow up question about him saying he was never in Prague. Is why was your cell phone pinging outside of Prague? I mean, do you still think we have a full answer on that?
I know, and I don't think that's important.
Yeah.
Because that one thing said that he was meeting with Russian intelligence. We talked about this last week, I think. It could be possible it wasn't Michael Cohen's phone, but the phone that was given to him by the by the Trump organization.
Oh.
It
Oh.
could be a Trump org phone.
Hmm.
Huh.
It could be a burner phone, but it may not have been his.
Yeah. Yeah.
May
Okay.
have been the one that was given to him for 1 week for one operation and then was reissued out to another person. I don't know if
That
it's
still
true or
bears
not.
some
I would,
some follow up questions, but
yeah,
okay.
sure, but it's a technicality.
Yeah, I got it.
I mean the peace plan that he came up with Felix Sater, which is real. We have copies of it. That is it. That is
Yep.
the incriminating document you want to focus on.
Yeah, or as I call him, Stabby McCocktail Glass. Malcolm, great stuff. Talk to you next week, sir.
All right, take care.
All right, see ya. There he goes.
Yay, Malcolm Nance.
Yeah, I can't find my pants.